So after Genesis 1:1, are we left, as some people think, are we left with some chaos which would lend to the gap theory?
No, not at all. That's not a bit of suggestion of that in Holy Scripture. I can give you the background of it, and it came from a very fine man. I mean, I think a lot of theistic evolutionists are very fine people, except at that point, perhaps. Dr. Thomas Chalmers was the leader of the evangelical forces in the Church of Scotland in the 1830s and 40s, and he was very much concerned with the intellectual movements in the culture. And he was alert that the geologists were saying the world is very, very old, millions of years old or more, and that lots of fossils actually proved the age of the earth. It had to be millions or hundreds of millions of years old, maybe even evolution. So he came up with a novel way to approach it, to keep the gospel and keep much of the value of Genesis by saying there's a gap, an imagined gap with this good man between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2. So God made an original creation. Everything was fine. Then there was the fall of Lucifer, who becomes the devil. And in that fall of Lucifer, there seems to have been a damaging, almost a destruction of the created order. And then vast amounts of time later, there comes to be a new restoration, and then he puts in Adam and Eve. That's preposterous. Something that important would have been mentioned somewhere else in Scripture. It never is. Now, you do have, I believe it's Isaiah 45, that the world was not created tohu. That is, it was not created to be empty and uninhabited. But there's nothing there about supposed prehistoric fall before man was created. It is a desire, part of the post-Enlightenment response of evangelical Christians to the theory, which they didn't say it's a theory, they say it's empirically proved, that the world is hundreds of millions of years old, and the fossils point to that and also point to evolutionary development, which actually they don't. So he was trying to respond to that. It's interesting to study because it's what we mustn't do. We must not import into the text something to make our message more palatable, more acceptable to secularists. We mustn't do it. He meant well. Yes, he did. But it's not the thing to do.